Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Nerd Cultured, the Sons of Glitches. I'm Mike. We've got Remy. We've got Neil. John is off doing good in the world and can't make it this
So
evening.
he says. We have no confirmation.
Yeah, well, this is very true. We have to take him at his word, but I can. He doesn't seem like the kind of guy to blow smoke up our asses about that sort of thing. So I'll
Wait,
Fair enough.
wait, are you saying that youth culture group is not him just going to the strip club?
That would literally be the worst possible. It's like, no, I'm working with a youth group, and then it's like at the strip club. It's like, well, some of these girls might be under 18. You don't know.
Oh, Jesus Christ! All right.
Welcome to the podcast.
Now that we've
everybody.
defamed Ghost's reputation, let's move on.
Yeah, really. So, by the way, as we're recording this, the Academy Awards are wrapping up.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah. Well, but it is so. Props to Black Panther.
What did it win?
As of last time I looked, they'd taken home a couple of awards. One for costume design and one for production design. But still, first MCU movies to ever get Academy recognition. I think that's rad.
And they were up for Best Picture, right?
They are up for Best Picture, yeah.
Okay, and that hasn't yet been
That's
awarded.
usually the end of the night.
No, actually that might happen while we're recording this, but
Oh, okay.
so. But in
Is
any
that
case,
why we're live tweeting the Oscars tonight?
yeah, we're not doing that. But if because we're all about nerdy shit and we all love Black
Yeah.
Panther.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
dude,
understand. I
Such
was
a
just
good
kidding.
movie.
Yeah, great movie.
Such a good movie.
Yeah, I don't know if it's
But-
Best Picture, but it is. It's cool that it's getting that nomination.
Yeah, it's badass. Now, Neil, curiosity: have you seen any of Genlocked
I
or
haven't
Genlock?
yet.
Excuse me.
I want to watch
because
that.
Michael B. Jordan is the main character. He voices the main character, and it's actually really damn good.
That's what I hear, and I'm excited to give it a try. But I might wait for more of it to come out so I can kind of watch it in a grouping. I guess not necessarily binge all of it at once, but more like so I can watch like 3 or 4 episodes, get into it, get an opinion on it in one go, rather than like having to space episodes out.
And that's
Yeah, the
only
first
on,
one is a little slow.
only on Rooster Teeth's streaming.
That's
thing,
correct.
right?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might be willing to pay $5 for Michael B. Jordan and Maisie Williams and David Tennant doing cool
Right.
sci-fi shit. That's...
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. The first episode is it takes a little bit to get into, but the second episode, it's like, oh shit, this is pretty fucking cool.
Well, Mike,
That's
and
when
what's
the
fun is
real
they
balance.
usually offer like a month free with different deals and stuff like that. So if you wanted to just give it a try out, you can do it that way.
Yeah,
See what it's about.
I think I'll probably wind up checking it out.
I think there's a 30-day free right now.
Yeah, all my disposable entertainment income for the next month or so went to. I realized I was missing. I was missing 4 classic Prince albums from my Google Play library for some reason, and so I had to replace those because you can't call yourself a fan and not have For You self-titled Dirty Mind and Controversy in your inventory. So I had to shell out $45 to replace those records. I don't know
geez.
where the hell they went.
Yeah.
I could never
and then-
get into Prince for some reason.
Oh, God. Let me and Jet sit you down and try to talk you through it at the LAN.
Okay.
And we'll see what
I
we can do.
I will subject myself to that.
You should. I mean, I don't want to go down a Prince rabbit hole here because I could literally talk about the guy all night.
Let me make one comment on Prince then real quick. So when I was a kid, like one of the things that was just the coolest thing that I could possibly play with was the Batman toys that came out post Batman 1986 kind of stuff.
The Batman soundtrack. Hell yeah.
Well, all that and stuff like that. So I didn't know that he had made music for the Batman soundtrack until like a week ago when I watched the music video for Bat Dance.
Yes.
And I don't know what to think about my life anymore thanks to Prince.
I had no idea that was the case.
Yeah, he did 9 or 10 tracks for that movie.
interesting.
Jack Nicholson and Tim Burton asked him to do it. They were both big fans. and
That's pretty badass.
So they approached him. The soundtrack is certainly, I mean, it's serviceable. There's some good songs on there. Nothing he hasn't done much better elsewhere. But and some of it's just fucking hysterical. I mean, Bat Dance
it's very weird, but very Prince.
Really, really bizarre. But
it matched the tone of the movie.
Well,
yeah.
Some of the songs, Party Man, that scene where Jack Nicholson is dancing through the museum and just knocking shit over and going insane.
Yeah, of course.
That song works really well. Trust,
sure.
the song playing during the parade where the Joker was about to gas everybody.
I remember that one well. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So some of them work really well. But Bat Dance was not. I mean, if you listen to the song that it was based on, it makes a lot more sense because he basically. Anyway, I don't want to go. I don't want.
Yeah,
to
I didn't want. Like I said, I didn't want to drive us down that Prince rabbit hole that you were so avoiding. But it just was funny that you brought that up because I literally looked up that music video and was just like, oh my god, this existed while I was playing with my toys as a child.
Oh yeah. No, I mean,
so the equivalent that I immediately go to with Prince being prominent with Bat Dance in the Batman movie is "Go Ninja Go" from Ninja Turtles and Vanilla Ice.
Yeah, but the difference is that Vanilla Ice is freaking chucklehead. And
sure, I'm not. Believe
Mike,
me,
Vanilla
I'm not
Ice is an artiste, okay, and you take that back.
It's like, one's a living joke. One's the greatest musician to ever live. Maybe.
Well, see, you can't say that. I wholeheartedly disagree with that assessment. Whether you sit me down and educate me or not.
Hold on. So we're 7 minutes in, and you guys had a disagreement. There it is.
Yeah,
cool.
Well, usually it starts earlier than that.
Mark the clock. Yeah, right. No kidding. But
we'll argue about that later. And by the way, I'm never backing down on that one. I saw the guy live 20 times. I met him twice. Jesus. I've got everything he's ever done. I cried for 2 weeks when he died. I am a dyed-in-the-wool, die-hard Prince fan. Have been since I was 10 years old. I still can't listen to Purple Rain and not cry. So I miss that guy. Anyway, but I did not mean to go down that path. But anyway, we'll argue about this at the LAN, Remy.
We'll definitely have that conversation.
Mike's gonna wait for reinforcements with Jet.
So anyway, I had to replace those records. I'm getting a tattoo in a couple of weeks, and I also had to pay for my Anthem pre-order. So my entertainment budget has been
you tapped out.
Yeah, that was the point that I was laboring towards.
I got you. We got there.
Yeah, we got there.
Took a little bit of the scenic route, as it were.
Speaking of your pre-order, how you liking it so far? Just brief, like less than 5 minutes.
Oh, I don't even think I'll need that much. But I mean, I've really been enjoying it so far. I think a lot of the negativity around it has been sort of this too cool for school mentality that, let's be honest, a lot of the gaming press has now. I think people made up their minds about this game before they ever touched it at all. In a lot of cases, but
I think it suffered from something that other games have suffered from, including Destiny, where it's like it says it's going to be everything for everybody, but it's just a really good looter shooter.
Well, it's a little bit more. It's a little bit more than that. So
okay,
the character development that you get with, especially with Owen, who's sort of your companion character, along with Faye and a couple of the other characters you meet early in the game. You can feel the BioWare heritage there. Feels very Mass Effect-y. With a couple of exceptions, the animation and the writing on the characters is rock solid. I mean, not stellar. But it's very, very good. Much better than Destiny. I mean, I can name characters from Anthem after spending, 3.5 hours in it. I couldn't have told you the names of any of the characters from Destiny after I was in it for 20 hours.
Yeah, I understand that.
So, I think that that piece of it, anybody complaining about that is like, you're looking for stuff to bitch about. The stuff that I like, the flight mechanics are fantastic. The gunplay is really fun. I think the way they've done abilities and loadouts is very, very cool. The javelins all feel very distinct, very different play styles. You know, the gunplay is smooth and fun. It's not disorienting the way some third person shooters can be. Just because if you don't have the perspective you have in an FPS, a shooter can feel kind of literally feel off center.
Yeah.
Because you got your guy sort of standing off to the side and it looks really weird and you're not sure where the bullets are going or whatever.
Yeah,
they do a really good job of getting around that and making it feel natural and accessible.
Cool.
And I mean, so far the story is good. Again, not stellar, but to put a good story into a shared world shooter is no easy feat. I think it's been perfectly good.
That's actually pretty impressive.
So I don't know. I mean, and if you look at the negative reviews around it, a lot of the stuff it's like, oh, loading screens. It's like, dude, what the fuck are you even talking about? Like, it's like, oh, Destiny didn't have this problem. It's like, oh, well, what are you, high? I'm sorry. All those times you spent in orbit or going through warp speed to get to, Venus or whatever.
It's like, why is this taking 2 minutes? Yeah.
They just masked it better.
those are loading screens, you dumbass.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And what was the other one I saw that people were bitching about?
Just a couple of
the loadouts.
Like that, right?
It was that like if you pick up it was the way they're doing loot. So I've played and Booker, you'll back me up on this. Because you've played Mass Effect as well. So in Mass Effect, when you do a loadout, that's your loadout for that mission.
Yeah.
Right.
How would you...
So
it's weird that they think that they could change that mid-mission.
Right.
Is that what's going there? Because like that's the case for almost any game ever. Like generally.
Well, yeah, that's your loadout until you die in any multiplayer, any single player. That's your loadout for the level.
That's
right.
When you do a mission at Anthem, I pick a sniper rifle and a light machine gun going out. Right. I'm going around. I'm doing my thing. I pick up a couple of new items over the course of the mission. I've seen a lot of people being like, well, I should just be able to take that gun and equip it right that second. And I was like, all right, well, I mean, there are plenty of games that let you do that. There are plenty of games that don't.
Okay, I can kind of understand the new loot kind of thing.
That I could agree with. Yeah, that seems a little strange.
It is a little bit weird.
To not have an accessible inventory for weapons alone. Like, gear loadout to your javelin, that makes sense, because you put that shit together before you start a mission, and then you launch with that loadout. But a gun, though, I feel like that's kind of maybe something that you want to be able to use it for. Say if you're in a quote-unquote raid, I don't know what the hell they're called in this one. If you're in the traditional raid, and it's you're going to be doing that for a couple hours or something like that, you would hopefully be able to, if you get something half an hour in, it's like, oh man, this is an upgrade, nice. You'd be able to put that in there and do the rest of the raid better.
Well, and
that's the hope.
I agree with the point. Anthem doesn't have raids though per se. Like the longest content that you have in Anthem is just as of right now anyway, the longest content you have in Anthem is about 40 minutes. Stronghold. Right. So, I mean,
but if you find a weapon that's an upgrade 5 minutes in, that's kind of shitty.
But you don't know what the loot is. You just know its rarity.
Oh, and then it's identified at the end of the mission.
And then once the mission's over, you get like an inventory of everything you got during the course of that mission.
Well, then what are people bitching about? They don't even know what they have.
I don't know.
Exactly.
Okay. Now I'm on your side. I didn't realize that they didn't know what it was.
No, it's just to be like,
that's just a mechanic.
You got a rare,
you
got an epic, you got a common, whatever. And then at the end of the mission, you can go through and you get a big long list of it's like, hey, here's all the cool shit you got, and you can go, ooh, fun.
See, that's kind of cool.
And you can say, hey, these 5 things out of those, just disassemble them. I'm not going to use them right then and there, so it's not cluttering up your stuff. It's kind of nice.
I haven't been bothered by it at all. And the nice thing about this game, another thing that I really like, if I've got half an hour, I can sit down and get through. I can go do some stuff in free play and get some cool shit, or I can do a contract or a mission. Just do it, get my stuff, tool around a little bit, put the game down and go back to whatever else I need to do. Or if I
Yeah.
want to sit down for 2 or 3 hours, I can do that too. It doesn't feel like that sort of
And Remy,
You have
appointment
to
gaming.
commit a certain
let
chunk
me
of time.
let me see if I can sell this game to you a little bit, even though I know you're not that really interested in it, and that's fine. But
Well, I'll never be able to play it because I don't have the internet access I would need or time.
see, one of the cool things about this game, from what I understand, is if you do lower level stuff with people, the drops still change into higher level stuff from that mission.
Yes, that's true. So everything scales to. So I was but right before we hopped onto this, I was playing Anthem for about 45 minutes, and in one of the missions I was running, I'm level. I've only got like 4 or 5 hours in the game, if that now. So I'm like level 9. One guy was level 6. I was level 9. Yeah, one guy was level 10, and one guy was level 24.
And so, yeah, the difficulty scales depending
Right.
on the person. So, like,
Yeah.
it's still as difficult
And
for the
works-
higher level
it
player as
worked
it is
really,
for the lower
really well.
one, supposedly. So,
Okay,
I
interesting.
thought that was kind of an interesting idea.
Yeah.
See, it's kind of almost Borderlands-esque
Yes.
in that
yes.
regard.
Yeah, I could see it
Yeah.
like that. Borderlands,
So
you can definitely out-level things, but this seems to tune, like, I will see it as a mid-level for me, even though I'm higher level, and you'll see it for, like, a mid-level for you, even though you're lower
Right.
level.
Well,
Interesting.
The thing about this game is going to be, what is it? Not so much what it looks like right now. What does it look like in 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, a year? Can it keep going?
Yeah.
Right.
And,
So
and
is
that's
there-
something that
I don't know.
we won't know for a while. And
Yeah,
I think
we
a lot of
won't-
people's
we won't,
problem
but
is
I mean,
they
it-
want to know that when they pay the $60, and it's like, yeah, but you're paying $60 for a full game, and you're getting that in the 100 hours you're going to play this.
Well, I mean, it feels like it certainly feels very, very good to me. And I can only say I'm really enjoying it. I think it's rock solid. Is it the greatest game I've ever played? Not yet. If it's ever going to be, no.
But you're enjoying yourself.
I'm very much enjoying myself, and it is much more, for example, much more polished, much more stable, much more fun, and much, much, much better put together than Destiny ever was when Destiny came out, and that's the obvious one that people are going to compare it to.
Oh, naturally.
So I would certainly recommend giving it the old college try. If that genre is anywhere in your wheelhouse, for people listening, give it a shot.
I thought you were talking about Remy. I was like, it's very much so in his wheelhouse. The problem.
Oh no! I'm done. I'm done trying to
Borderlands
talk
just
Remy into Anthem.
spoiled
I've said my piece on that. I'm just saying in general, like if
It's not that I don't want to try it. You've painted it as though I absolutely hate it. Granted, I'm very weary of EA. I despise them. But as far as the game is concerned, I'd love to try it, but I don't have the time and I don't have the drive to collect loot forever and live in this never-ending world. I just don't have
game
time.
doesn't feel that way to me. At least not yet.
Whether it feels that way or not, is that not the ultimate goal? Is just collection of loot? It's a loot game.
Well,
Yeah.
it's a looter shooter.
I mean, yes and no. I mean, having not gotten to the end game yet, I can't tell you what that feels like.
Fair enough.
I don't feel like I need to sit down and bust out a spreadsheet to figure this game out and to min-max my character and to do the math and all that kind of stuff. The way some people were doing or still very much are doing with Destiny 2. It's like, here's the absolute best loadout, and you need this gun and you need these perks and all this shit and blah blah blah. I don't have any interest in doing that anymore either. It's really
I
more.
couldn't care less about doing this shit.
Yeah,
It's terrible.
I mean, it feels much more because there's no PvP element to it, and it's all focused on PvE, and it's all.
Well, what it comes down to is you can spend that as long as you can get when you get from beginning to end of storyline. If that felt like a solid game and it's got a little bit of legs after that, you're gonna get your $60 worth generally.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
well, and the thing is that at least for a lot of the, I'm sure, because there's like, grandmaster difficulty and stuff that unlocks when you hit max level, and there's other content and dungeons and stuff. Like, there is endgame content in the game, but from the way I'm playing it right now, all that min-maxing shit and the loot hunting doesn't matter. It doesn't.
Yeah,
I'm doing
just enjoy the game for what it is so far.
Right, because I'm in this, like I said, I've guy who's level 26, me who's level 9, we're both contributing, we're both having a good time. I'm not looking at how much damage he's doing and just being like, oh god, I fucking suck. It not relevant.
Yeah. It's more about contributing the crowd control and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Or not even. I mean, it's just about working together, and it's like, hey, that guy froze those guys. I can drop some lightning on him. Boom, combo. Oh, hey, that's awesome. And it's like that sort of stuff. Cool. Yeah, it's fun.
So you started off by saying you're annoyed by something, and I think I diverted you to some positive thinking. So I apologize for that.
How dare you?
So what we were going to talk about was that there's been a little bit of outcry over it, and we touched on that very briefly as we were going through there. And I think mostly people are ready. There's some AEA hate for one. For two, a lot of people have played the beta, quote unquote beta, and and we're just kind of put off by it. It's like, yeah, because it's not your kind of game. And that's okay.
Well, I mean, put off by it. Why? It's like it's like, oh,
like I said, I think everyone is expecting it to be everything for everyone, or like to be a dozen things, and it's like it's three good things. Well, that's it.
Maybe. I mean, I don't have the answer to that.
Well, like you said, the story's not like the best thing since Mass Effect or something like that, but it is solid for being what it is.
Yeah, is this on a par with Mass Effect 2? No. Is it Dragon Age Origins in terms of story? Of course it's not. It's a co-op game. It's not gonna be that.
And that's not to say there's co-op games with bad, like that. All co-op games have bad storylines, but more or less this is a center. Its focus is on the co-op and the shared world.
Yes.
So that's why.
Yes. I mean, we talked about this a little bit in the last podcast, but one of the things that usually will show is how much, how do you make that story work? I will say one of the things that is a little, I wish you had more flexibility in the dialogue that you have with some of the characters in the game. So if I'm talking to Owen or whoever and in the game, if an option to respond to him pops up, or any character, you only have two.
Yeah,
and
it's like daring.
That feels
and
very
withheld a little bit, or something like that, right?
It feels very un-BioWare-ish.
Yeah,
I ought to have 4 or 5 different options, and the reason I don't have 4 or 5 different options is because it's a shared world, and my choices can't impact the shared world.
Yeah.
So, I can.
I mean, they can slightly impact. Well, no. I was gonna say
they can maybe impact Fort Tarsis a little bit.
They could impact how people interact with you or something like that.
By myself,
but not by much.
But if I go out and do a mission, my choice can't affect the 3 other people because they probably didn't make the same choice.
Yeah.
So, I get that. But people are complaining about that. They're like, oh, my choices should have an impact. It's like, the game's not engineered that way, dickhead.
Yeah, it's not Mass Effect.
Right? If you want a game where your choices matter, go play fucking Witcher 3. Go play Mass Effect. Go play Red Dead. Go play GTA.
Those games are out there. Yeah.
In story mode. I mean, like, it's a different kind of experience.
Your choices don't matter in GTA.
In the story mode, really?
No, not really. Not so much.
Oh, okay,
it's much more linear than that.
All right.
The story mode in GTA is nothing.
I made an uneducated assumption about that. I figured,
You figured Rockstar, you figured,
Yeah,
I
figured,
oddly enough, you're giving GTA a little too much credit.
They did it in Red Dead. I figured they would have had the good sense
in
to do it in GTA.
Every day that you walk down the street and you choose not to slap the hooker, that's a choice.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, it is.
That is a choice.
But anyway, so speaking of being outraged, the other thing that we wanted to talk about briefly.
Speaking of slapping a hooker.
Speaking of slapping hookers, yeah.
Are you implying that Miss Marvel is a hooker?
Oh my god.
No.
Captain Marvel, not Miss Marvel.
He's like
Captain. She's a captain. Sorry.
I don't want to. He's like, I don't want to get my ass beat by Captain Marvel because it will happen. No, but there's been some apparently review bombing going on with this, which is kind of weird because it's not like it's being review bombed in support of another movie, which is generally what I've seen that happen with.
So here's what's going on.
Yeah, fill us in, because I have turned a blind eye to everything Captain Marvel until it releases.
Well, you have filters on your computer to censor out anything related to Marvel movies before they come out.
Yeah, I genuinely avoid anything having to do with them. So, fill me in on the controversy.
Genuinely, I think might be Remy. You pathologically avoid it.
Well, that too.
It's like
which I admire, by the way, and it would make my life a lot easier if I could do the same thing. But sadly, I cannot. But here's what's going on right now. Captain Marvel has about a 40% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
40%.
That's incredibly low for a high-budget movie like that.
Incredibly low for an MCU movie. The next lowest one is The Incredible Hulk at 72. Now,
wow.
Why might that be the case? Well...
so what's the controversy? Who did what? Who posted tweets 20 years ago that...
No. Nothing so sordid as that. This isn't another James Gunn thing. Brie Larson has come out very publicly a few times in favor of things like feminism, inclusion, both in movies and in the media, ethnic and racial diversity, gender diversity.
Well, good for her. That's awesome.
And the response of certain people in the interwebs community has been to treat her like she is the goddamn Antichrist for saying any of that stuff. And so what's happening is people are filing troll reviews and review bombing it on sites like Rotten Tomatoes to try to there's also false news stories that are being spread about its projected returns, saying, predicting it's going to be a disaster in its opening weekend, and blah, blah, blah. And, and then there's also all the typical horseshit that these, what's the term I'm looking for? Chuckle-headed cockgoblins who, who actually think this way will... They're like, well, she doesn't smile. It's like, she's not. That's what? It's like, she looks too intense. I don't find that attractive. It's like, who gives a fuck what you find attractive, asshole? It's like, she's not supposed to be a goddamn sex kitten. She's a fucking superhero. You don't give Batman a bunch of shit for not smiling enough.
Dude, I want to see a smiley Batman.
I want to see a smiley Batman too.
I do not want to see a smiling Batman. I've seen it once and it was terrifying.
I can't. And this is that same Gamergate bullshit.
Well, here's the thing.
Right?
Like, this kind of thing happened with Venom, but in kind of a weird way. Like, I guess people were review bombing A Star Is Born because they wanted Venom to do better, which is weird.
Yeah, it was The Star Is Born and Venom. They were releasing it on the same day, and Lady Gaga fans wanted to make sure everybody paid more attention to A Star Is Born instead of Venom, which
I thought it was the other way around.
Retarded. No, it was.
Well, here's the thing. I heard Venom's
stupid.
Not great
it's
anyway, so
it's not great, but it's not bad. It's fun. It just don't take it too serious. It's not an MCU movie. It's a Sony Spider-Man movie. So take it as that.
I really wish they hadn't wasted Tom Hardy on a non-MCU movie, though. God, I would love to see that guy in the MCU.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'd love to see I'd love to see Marvel get all of its properties back, just all of them entirely.
Yeah, really.
Well, the one you're striving for is Fantastic Four, is it not?
Dude, that'd be fucking awesome. I would love to see Marvel make a Fantastic Four movie. because
that's the one that
they
you've
know how to
always
handle
tried to sell to me
their characters. What, Fantastic Four being good?
No. Just the idea of like, no, they should 100% bring the Fantastic Four into the MCU.
Dude, it's the first family in comics. It has to be. You need a quality Fantastic Four movie. And Marvel Studios could do that. It kills me that they haven't had the opportunity.
I know I've been tainted by Fantastic Four movies past, but I have so little interest in that particular family. Oh, thanks, Mike. Appreciate the 9-year-old input.
Sorry, had to be done.
I just love that. Like, he couldn't stop himself.
If Marvel could take Fantastic Four and do John Hickman's run of the Fantastic Four, that would be the best fucking series. 3 movies, I think you could get a good quality. Actually, you know what? Fantastic Four TV show, given the same care that Game of Thrones was given. That would be worth our time. If they could do that on their new Disney streaming service, please. I would
at first I was
love
like,
to
where
see
would
that
you
shit.
put that? And it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Disney streaming. That would be beautiful. Because John Hickman, especially that run, if you read that run and you don't like Fantastic Four after that, then you don't like Fantastic Four. But if you don't like them and you read that, you might just change your mind.
You don't own it,
because they're
do you?
fucking incredible.
Yeah, see, I was never.
I may.
I never got into the Fantastic Four comics. They were never my. They were never my favorites when I was.
All right, if I could recommend both of you and those of you listening, read Jonathan Hickman's run on Fantastic Four.
Okay.
It's the best that Fantastic Four ever will be and ever has been.
Maybe I can borrow yours, and then Mike can pick up.
If I can find it,
come back and maybe we can come back to this in the future at some point. I'd be interested to hear Mike's opinion on it compared to mine.
Yeah, I'd love for you guys to go through that because it's such a good story. It's just he handles the characters perfectly, and that's a rare thing for the Fantastic Four. So that's just my 2 cents, and it's fun as hell.
There's a lot of associated characters from that section of the Marvel universe that I would love to see in the MCU as well.
Oh fuck yeah, Silver Surfer.
Oh yeah,
Galactus.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. It's like, Galactus, Silver Surfer,
Doom.
Doctor Doom, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a long list, and
It's
a
a
lot
very
of
long list.
Those characters were all, in one way, shape, or form, really pivotal in the Infinity Gauntlet story in the comics.
Oh yeah. Oh
Well,
yeah.
what's interesting is
pivotal.
after the second Fantastic Four movie came out, the reboot of it,
The Rise of the Silver Surfer, or the second
failed.
iteration.
So yeah, the reboot of it failed so badly. It booted up a lot of conversations of like, okay, well, how do you do a Fantastic Four movie well? And I've seen a couple of those conversations, and they're kind of interesting.
Let Marvel fucking have it.
Well, that's number one usually on people's list. But it's interesting because like all these people are just like, we do want to see Doctor Doom. We just don't want to see him in the first movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
that makes a lot of sense.
You maybe bring him in like Harry Osborn is brought in the first in the original Spider-Man movies.
What a waste.
What was that?
That was such a waste.
Oh
Yeah,
but I mean, but the way they presented him in the first of the original Star Wars, the Tobey Maguire ones, how they presented him in the beginning, he's just his friend.
Wars.
And then you slowly but surely have this buildup of like, oh, now I know why there's tension there.
Hey, can we, by the way, just take a quick second to pour one out for Tobey Maguire, really quick?
Can I pour it on him? I hate Tobey Maguire. Dude.
Well, but I'm saying, pour one out for the dead, because, man.
You know what's really funny is he made a very good Peter Parker, but not a great Spider-Man.
Well, here's the thing. When he made those movies, like we had no frame of reference. Let's be honest, right?
We did have the X-Men movies.
We did, but those were the exception, not the norm.
No, you're absolutely right. Now it's the norm. Yes.
So we know. I mean, like Tom Holland is Spider-Man now.
Yeah,
like he just is.
He deserves it. And I'm going to say a very unpopular opinion right now. Andrew Garfield was a good Spider-Man.
He was a good Spider-Man. He was a terrible Peter Parker.
I never saw those. By the time I could not sit through another Sony Spider-Man movie. It took Tom Holland popping up in Captain America,
Civil War, yeah,
in Civil War. And then I was like, fuck yes. But you could tell right from the second that he showed up, from the second he started talking, you were like, that kid's nailing this.
No, he's Spider-Man.
Nailing the character.
Well, not only that, but like,
I completely agree.
He brought enough effort into that character. And I understand like that sounds kind of silly because it's Spider-Man, but he brought enough love into that character that he did not just a New York accent for the character, but like a modern, and is it Bronx? No, that's where Captain America's from. Brooklyn? Queens. He actually brought like a modern Queens accent to that character. It's like very slight, but it's absolutely there. That's kind of love that he brought to that character, which is like what you've been longing to see for a long time.
He is perfect for Spider-Man. I completely agree with that. But Andrew Garfield was great. Tobey Maguire, no. Nothing about those movies except for Doc Ock was good.
Well, look, I would watch Alfred Molina read the fucking phone book. I mean, so yeah, I'm with you. Well, and also, I liked Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin.
Willem Dafoe was entertaining to watch, but not as Green Goblin. As Harry Osborn, abso-fucking-lutely.
The biggest problem with the Green Goblin in those original ones is they covered up a actor like William Dafoe's face.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sinful.
It really is. And I understand they want to hide his identity and stuff like that, but there's other ways to do that.
By the way.
Oh, really?
He looks as disconcerting in person as you would imagine him to look.
God, I love that man. Dude, Boondock Saints would not have been the same movie without him.
You know what's kind of amazing? As we're talking about this, I have a YouTube window open up in the background, and it's a video of William Dafoe breaks down his like iconic characters kind of thing.
Willem. His name is Willem, not
Sorry,
William.
Willem. And it's showing Boondock Saints and Spider-Man behind him. So it's funny that like that happened to be on my YouTube feed while we're bringing the subject up, quote unquote, randomly.
Yeah, that's really funny. Yeah. Well, at least we know we're sticking to the script then.
I love that fucking movie. I love Boondock Saints. I also love the story about the guy who made Boondock Saints, who was just like such an apocalyptic asshole that nobody would let him make another movie after that one.
I didn't know that.
I heard that.
Oh yeah, Troy Duffy. He was like everybody hated that guy. It's why he never really made another movie. I'm amazed he ever got the sequel made.
Mike, I got to give you credit. You coin terms that make me chuckle. I have never heard anyone ever refer to someone as an apocalyptic asshole. That's a fucking beautiful description. You can go on with whatever you were saying, but I just gotta throw that. You always coin these terms.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
It's the old art of throwing darts at a dictionary and just using what sticks, and he does it very well.
Adjective.
A long and storied career of ruthlessly mocking those who exasperate me.
It'll do well. You'll do well in parenting because of that.
Yeah, right.
Well, results are out on that one. We'll see, but so I do want to come back to this whole thing of I don't.
Marvel?
Well, yeah, because it bothers me. It's like
for sure, yeah, that's bullshit.
Like how? Look, I mean, we're spirit of full disclosure. I mean, we're three, reasonably average white guys sitting here making a podcast talking about this.
Right.
I don't feel and have never felt threatened, belittled, demeaned, or cast aside by the success of someone who is not my gender, who doesn't look like me. I don't understand people who do. So,
no, I completely don't understand that.
I don't know if this is just a thing.
That's why
like,
it surprised me when I mentioned that earlier. Is because like I've heard this of other things of like, but generally the review bombing comes from we like this other thing more, so we're gonna bomb this other one to bring up that thing. Whereas this one's like we just dislike this thing, and that's generally I haven't seen review bombing done that way before. It's very odd.
Well, it's just she's a woman. She's saying that, women should have complete parity and equality with men, and that,
as they should.
They totally should. And, it's like...
anyone that doesn't agree with that kind of shit, anyone that has the racist bone, has those thoughts or that suppression of another being is on the wrong side of history, and it's going to show that way.
Yeah,
it's straight up that if for no other reason than to not be on the wrong side of history, what the fuck are people doing?
Have any of you guys ever seen the there's old what are they called, like propaganda for during women's suffrage when they were, the vote was going to go through of like women voting yes, no kind of thing, and there's literally the opposition of women's suffrage and the rationale as to why women shouldn't have the vote. It's amazing to read that in this day and age where it's like, oh, of course that should be the case. And then you read those, you're like, oh my God, people felt that, oh no, they shouldn't vote because they'll just vote for the same person as their husband, so why bother? It's like, what even? Like, you're assuming that everyone's going to be married.
Yeah. Well, here's and this is very broad stroke stuff. Here's where I keep landing on this is that I don't know how to argue that someone should have respect and empathy for other people. I don't
it seems
know
like
how
it
to
would be a
have
given.
that. I don't know how to have that argument. So I believe, for instance, that we should make a concerted effort as a society to make sure that there are no hungry children starving in this country.
Yeah.
How don't care. Fucking dare you?
You don't care. Well, so you
that
don't
food
care
was
about
earned
that.
by my people.
Okay. I believe that a woman should have pay equal to a man for doing the same work and the same quality of work. You don't give a shit. I believe that if immigrant children shouldn't be separated from their parents and die in detention.
Mm-hmm.
You don't care about that. Like, I don't know how to argue that
there is no argument for ignorance.
Well, it's like, right, I don't know how to argue that you shouldn't be a shithead. Like,
and honestly, that's what it comes down to. It's like, that's the golden rule, right? Is just don't be a shithead. And it comes down to racism, that comes down to sexism, it comes down to all these different things. And it's just like
all the isms.
We've been saying this for 40 years now, 50 years now, well over that at this point in this country. Like, just be cool to each other and we can have nice things.
Well, it's not just it boils down to two very simple things. It boils down to money and power and the people who have it and don't want to give it up. And that's and that is, by the way, true of Captain Marvel's review bombing, and it's true of the larger political scene.
Here's what I've seen of Captain Marvel reviews so far. I haven't gone seeking them out, but I happened to stumble upon them on Twitter. And what Captain Marvel did, which I thought was a very good way of doing the review thing, is just say, "Oh yeah, give your opinion on it." There's no boycott. There's no not boycott. There's no what's the word for it when they say that you can't do a review till a certain date?
Oh, embargo.
Yeah, thank you. There's no embargo. So they just said, "Yeah, go on Twitter and let us know what you think." Just real simple.
Yeah. I appreciate
that. So a small crowd of people came out after seeing it about a week or two early, whatever it is, and were like, it was fun. The music was on point. It reminded me of the 90s, and it was just a Rickroll and ride, and it had some cool stuff in it that we haven't seen so far. And it's like, what else are you asking for? It's a comic book movie. You know what I mean? If it does more than that, then that's great. But like, that's the That's the bar, so to speak.
So I'll tell you a Captain Marvel controversy that is not really a controversy, but it's something I'm irritated about.
Oh.
So I found out recently that DC has, I know that they have Supergirl on, I don't remember what channel it is. I know they had one on CW, but now they have one on ABC or...
I thought it was still on CW.
Wherever it is right now.
DC's
name,
got like 3 or 4 shows on CW.
Okay, so the character's name was always Kara Zor-El, right? She's Superman's cousin.
Mm-hmm.
So they decided they didn't want to go that direction. You know what they named her?
Oh, no.
They named her Kara Danvers.
Really?
Do you know what Captain Marvel's name is?
Carol Danvers?
Uh-huh.
I feel
What the fuck are they doing?
I feel like that's a finger. Okay, but we know the... Okay, Remy, go over the history of Captain Marvel real quick then. Or, sorry. Yeah, is it
Carol
just...
Danvers?
Or is it just Mr... is it Mr. Marvel?
Captain Marvel.
Is it Captain Marvel? Go over the history of Captain Marvel real briefly for us. Like, 2 minutes, go.
Well, it's... Captain Marvel is not a cosmic entity, but one of the strongest beings out there,
not,
and more or less.
My apologies. Not the backstory of the characters, but what has happened between DC and Marvel Comics over the years. Because originally Captain Marvel was a DC character, was it not?
Oh, no. They tried to name somebody Captain Marvel, and Marvel said, no, we have one of those. So they slapped him with
sorry, my apologies. I had heard that basically...
I'm confused. I'm trying to understand what you're asking.
What I understand is...
Neil keeps mis-explaining himself, and then you keep trying to pin it
I'm
based
giving
on an
you
incorrect
good
explanation.
My apologies. Basically, what I understood
Stop apologizing!
What I understood was that Captain Marvel was a character in DC Universe, and they let the copy... And he wasn't super popular, but they let the copyright expire on that name. And so... Marvel went, oh, we'll make one of those then, and basically made Miss Marvel. And
I don't think that's true.
Marvel.
Is that true?
I believe so.
No. Marvel was always a character. I don't think No, I don't think that's true. I could be.
As far as I
mistaken.
understand, DC tried to sue it, saying, no, that's our character. Like, we have that name sake for a superhero character. And they were like, well, copyright. You haven't made anything for such and such number of years with that character, and you let the copyright lapse. So. No, and the courts sided with Marvel.
I didn't know that. If that's the case, I'm not sure.
Hang on. In the '60s, Marvel Comics trademarked the name Captain Marvel for their own Kree alien superhero, which meant when DC licensed the Fawcett characters in 1972, they had the Fawcett character named Captain Marvel, but couldn't call the comic Captain Marvel. So they used his transformation. That's what it was. As you guys were talking about this, I'm like, I fucking heard this. So. Shazam,
that's right,
was originally named Captain Marvel before DC bought the licensing to him. That's what it was. So he used to say Shazam when he would transform into, quote, Captain Marvel. So they just renamed him Shazam.
Okay. So there's been some weirdness with that. And so I wonder if them naming Supergirl Kara Danvers is like a middle finger to Marvel for basically taking that back.
Well, I feel like this is for DC to do this is kind of a fuck you move, because they're trying to confuse people, as the way I see it.
I can see that. Is
they're trying to, like, hey, this is a gal that's super powerful. Oh, you've heard of Carol Danvers? Here she is. You know, it's like the Netflix movie called Shark Tornado, trying to gather the people that don't know that it's actually Sharknado that they want to see. It's like the knockoff.
Getting that clickbait in, right?
We're making B movie knockoffs of B movies now.
Exactly. Well, yeah. I mean, this is a C movie knockoff of a B. But regardless, you understand what I'm saying. Like when Dante's Peak was a thing, there was a knockoff of that. It's just like shit that they always make these.
You're gonna run into more controversy there about whether Dante's Peak is a knockoff of Volcano or vice versa. Then you are going to
Volcano was a fucking. No, Volcano was a bad movie. Dante's Peak was actually a good movie.
You're gonna have more disagreement.
Thank you. Yes, totally. Yeah. See, Remy.
I've heard from people.
You and I are in lockstep. Dante's
Look
Peak.
at that.
I mean, I will watch the shit out of Dante's Peak every single time it comes on.
Well,
it's a really good movie, highly enjoyable.
I'm all about it.
Highly enjoyable.
But Volcano, steaming pile of... I'm just kidding.
No, Volcano was just okay. It was just like, meh, whatever. We've seen this. It's just a
Volcano was just like, oh my goodness, it's a volcano in the middle. Oh, look. Oh, Beverly Boulevard is on fire. Whatever. I don't fucking know all the Southern California street names. Wilshire Boulevard's on fire.
There is a Beverly Boulevard. You're good.
I'm sure there is. There's
it intersects with Wilshire.
I don't fucking know it. I don't remember all the street names in LA. I used to live out in the sticks and on Foothill Boulevard out in Claremont. So, but yeah, I mean, Volcano is much more. Oh my God, there's a volcano in Los Angeles. What are we going to do? Somebody call Arnold Schwarzenegger. Oh, we can't get him. Here's Tommy Lee Jones, I guess. So that was absolutely that. Like now, if Schwarzenegger had been in that movie, it would have been a 10 times better movie. Just watching it, be like, oh my God, the volcano!
Dude.
It's erupting in the middle of the thing, and we got to play.
Well, then it's a little bit more of we know what we're doing here. It's ridiculous. Let's have fun with that. Whereas,
exactly.
Whereas Volcano seemed a little bit more played straight for what it was.
It was very contrived. Yeah, it was a little not good. But
dude,
anyway,
by the way, so special recognition of the fact that I guarantee this is the first time anybody's talked about either of these movies on a podcast in about 10. If it's ever happened, I'm sure it happened like 10 fucking years ago.
Well, yeah. Well, that's where a lot of that stemmed of the whole rivalry between like apocalypse movies of Deep Impact versus
it's not only apocalypse movies, but you got Ants and Bugs Life came out within the same month.
Yeah, that's
like that. It's always
that's a thing.
I do kind of miss that though. I miss that a little bit. So when I was writing for the Nooberverse Top 100 that we did a few years back. I wrote an article. I wrote a review for Sonic the Hedgehog, and I love Sonic, by the way. But I used the example I used to compare Sega and Nintendo was Schwarzenegger and Stallone in the 80s. And so
it's actually
Nintendo,
not a bad.
I remember this article, man. I do. I remember it well.
Yeah. So Nintendo was obviously Schwarzenegger. Right.
Obviously,
they had the bigger hits. They had the better product. They
just know how to have fun.
Right. But there was one area. So Schwarzenegger had a better product, but Stallone was doing more interesting stuff. He was up to stuff. He was trying things, and that was always Sega. And Stallone also had it over Schwarzenegger by and large in one key area, which was the franchise. So, I will take Sonic over Mario. Back in the day, I know Mario's since gone on to much greater heights, and Sonic is kind of
like he owns his own plumber's business now, right? He's not just.
But it's like Nintendo had a. And by the way, I still maintain Mario and Luigi are racist to shit, and I'm Italian. That still pisses me off that we're the one ethnic group that you can be like, oh, it's a plumber with a mustache, and
is it just
Mario,
the one
it's
ethnic
me,
group?
Mario. Fuck you. We don't talk like that. But the it's like Nintendo's like, hey, we got a plumber, and Sega's like, oh yeah, I'll see you a plumber and raise you a fucking hedgehog on meth. What are you gonna do now? And
he fights somebody who makes robots out of small furry animals.
What I miss about old school games is they just didn't give a fuck. They didn't take themselves seriously for a minute. It's like, okay, let's make a hedgehog. Oh, dude, make him blue and make him run fast with fucking red sneakers. Boom. Mascot.
And make him fight a mad scientist who's shaped like an egg for some reason.
I want to know what the hell they were smoking when they come up with ideas like that. I fucking love it.
I think they were just being Japanese, frankly. But the and the same thing for Mario, incidentally.
Yeah.
And I mean, and if I know anything about the Japanese culture, and I know a little bit, I'd say it's very safe to assume that no drugs were involved, but that there was a shitload of alcohol involved.
You're probably not wrong there.
I feel pretty safe in that assumption, but I always felt like that was a really exciting time in pop culture in general, because you had there were like these titanic monoliths that were going up against each other, like Schwarzenegger versus Stallone, Prince versus Michael Jackson. Like, it was like, we don't really have that anymore. Like, Marvel versus DC isn't a fight. Like, Marvel won that fight.
Yeah, now DC's
it's
just
over,
looking
and
at the
it's been
scraps.
over for a long
There's
time.
people that disagree with you, but those aren't generally people that have facts at hand.
Yeah, well, I'm saying those people can't. I'm talking about, you're exactly right. I'm talking about objective fact. The numbers say that Marvel trounces DC.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
You can like DC better. I'm not saying you're wrong for doing that. I'm just saying.
I will.
Okay. The public has spoken, and the broader community has decided we like the Marvel product. DC lost.
Yes.
So.
And on that note, that we'll get plenty of comments, we should probably wrap it up.
Well, shout out to where DC's done well, like The Dark Knight and stuff like that. And they've done some really good stuff on the television side of things too, whereas Marvel is not.
See, okay, but I gotta stop you there, because Marvel has had some really good shows. The Daredevil was phenomenal.
Okay, that's fair.
Punisher
Daredevil
was
is really good,
Jessica Jones season 1 was
Jessica
great.
Jones was great.
And I don't think either of you guys have seen season 3 of Daredevil yet, have you?
No, I still have to watch it.
I'll get there.
Really good. It's sad because it's
really do wanna
obviously the end of that series, but it's really good.
Yeah. That's what I've heard. But DC, their TV shows feel very childish to me.
Yeah,
I've never felt.
Okay, depends on which show you're talking about, but let me
Arrow,
use the example
Flash.
that I know, and that is Smallville. The first 4 seasons.
That's very childish.
Yeah, it's campy, it's silly, it's a
Yeah.
little bit like self-aware. I really enjoyed the first 4 seasons, or maybe it was the first 3 seasons and the 4 seasons where they jumped the shark. But as soon as they got serious and tried to be like, oh, we're going to be a Superman show, it's like, oh, no, dude.
That's not what we were watching.
Yeah, exactly.
So what is so Gotham? Hey, let's make a show about Batman without Batman. Hard pass, not interested.
And some people really enjoy Gotham. I get that, but
why?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I know there's a lot of interesting things that people do with it. I know
They
some
put
of
it
the
on in the
casting is really
background
good.
while they make canned soup and waffles for dinner 7 nights a week. I mean, I don't.
What I've always said, what they tried to do with Gotham. So what I've always said is Marvel's got the superhero game on lock. They won that battle, as you said, Mike.
Yeah, they won.
But DC has always had more interesting villains. I will
And that's
wholly admit
I think that's why Gotham is interesting.
and that's why Gotham
Batman
exists.
I think Batman and Spider-Man are the 2 best rogues galleries that you'll find for any superheroes. And I know there's others that are better in certain circumstances and stuff like that. But I'm just talking about single superheroes rather than teams
recognizable
like the X-Men or something
yeah.
like that.
I would probably I would probably give the crown there to Batman. I really would.
And
when
I
you
completely agree with that.
Yeah, when you think comic book villain, I mean, let's be honest. When you think comic book villain from 90% of the population of this planet, the Joker is the first person that pops into your brain. So,
which personally I don't understand, but
that comes from the first Batman film.
I'm not saying it's correct.
No, I'm completely agree with
case.
what you're saying. I don't understand it.
Yeah,
that's all. But regardless, we should wrap up. And
I didn't want to end with DC sucks kind of thing because they have some stuff that's doing well, and I think that they maybe are. God damn!
I mean, okay, hang on.
Hang on.
Okay, no, we can't end on this because let me make sure I'm crystal clear on this issue. Okay, DC's TV shows are hot garbage.
Oh.
I'm sorry, but they are.
Okay.
They are poorly written. They're
I haven't seen a
poorly
lot of
acted.
That's what I'm saying.
Poorly produced. They look like they were shot on the back lot of Universal Studios in 2003 for $150K an episode. They look like shit. I'm sorry.
Jesus.
And they star people you have never heard of. They
Are you talking actors or are you talking characters? Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. Actors you've never heard of. You know,
well, like I said, I've heard good stuff inside of Gotham in terms of the casting and stuff like that. And that I haven't experienced it myself, so I can't really. I'm not the best.
But I'm talking mostly what. So when I think of
Neil, you're trying so hard.
let me tell you what I think about when I think about the.
Like I said,
Neil,
I
understand you're
good
trying
things.
to equivocate here, and I appreciate that. But you know, when I think of DC's TV shows, it's like Legends of Tomorrow, which is hot garbage. Arrow, hot garbage. Black Lightning, hot garbage.
The Flash is not the worst thing in the world. I'll give that.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
It seems like they throw a lot at the wall and to see what sticks. And
Okay,
some
they need
stuff
to stop
comes
doing
out of
that.
it. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, they need to learn their lesson from.
They need to
from the
really,
movie
really like
scenes.
focus on one or two and then build from there.
Yeah, they never
Well, I mean,
see. The problem is that they never give their characters time to develop. They just throw them into one big pot of hot shit and hope that something good comes out of it.
Well, it's not like you
Whereas
can't take
Marvel
a DC
takes time
property
to
and make it into
nurture-
something good. Like the
Absolutely.
I mean, the Dark Knight trilogy was fucking awesome.
Oh, it's phenomenal! It's one of the best superhero movies out there, or superhero
It's
series
great.
out there.
Wonder Woman,
And that's coming from
really,
me.
Wonder Woman was really, really good.
It was really good.
You know,
And it had Lupin in it, so there's that.
Yeah, I mean, like it's not like they just can't do it consistently.
Wait, so why did
And-
Wonder Woman not get? Never mind. I just the
That's
internet
a conversation
baffles
for
me.
another time. I know
know,
where
right?
you were going with that.
Yep.
You know, look, and if we're being completely, I mean, just based on their merits as films, if Black Panther got nominated for Best Picture, and I think it should, it was a great movie.
It was.
Infinity War was every bit as good and should have also gotten a nomination.
Oh, I completely agree. And
Just
that's a whole can of worms that we're gonna save for another day.
I think that's probably a good idea. We're already 5 minutes over.
All right, everybody out there, thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening,
Thank
everybody.
you very much.
We'll see
We'll
y'all
catch you
soon.
on YouTube, Twitch, and all those fun things.
And check
Yes.
out our Discord. We're on there. Bye.
Bye.
Hey folks, thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed. If you did, do us a favor and hit that sub button and ring that little bell. You can always catch us here on Twitch and Discord. All the links are in the description, and we will catch you next time.